coverage on Kolkata horror. Miscreants tried to sabotage the Reclaim the Night movement last night in Kolkata by entering RG Medical College and Hospital in the wee hours of Thursday. Chaos erupted as a mob vandalized the area where people were protesting to seek justice for the brutal rape and murder of the 31-year-old trainee doctor at that medical college, visuals of which are on your screens as we speak. Miscreants allegedly attacked protesters, including doctors, also damaged police vehicles. A mob of hundreds of men barged into the premise, pelted stones and ransacked police vehicles. They broke the gate. They took everyone by surprise, including the police itself. According to eyewitness accounts, nearly 500 to 1,000 people broke the gates, barged inside the premise, and the vandalism that you can see on your screen ensued in the wee hours of morning. Absolute apathy for public administration, for a hospital, a public hospital that was housing some patients when that vandalism occurred, visuals of which you can see on your screens, protesters fleeing for their life. And there are some big questions we are asking. There was heavy police deployment. Where did the mob come from? Shreya, some of these pertinent questions with respect to what really transpired this morning, where did that mob come from?
Absolutely, Shweta. At this given point, that is one of the biggest questions, that where did this mob come from? Because remember, ladies and gentlemen, this movement was taking place across 45 locations in Kolkata, and it is that one specific location where we saw this kind of a mob, 5,000 people, Shweta, that we see. And RG Hospital, the same place where this incident took place, that is the one place which got sabotaged completely within a matter of minutes.
And what was the police doing when all of that happened? Because apparently the mob started gathering in the evening itself. They were carrying lathis, they were having stones with them, they were in possession of instruments that could have been used to vandalize. What was the police doing? Why was there not enough deployment to stop such an act from happening in the first place?
Absolutely, Shweta. In fact, there are disturbing reports coming in at this given point from the people of Kolkata who were attending these protests at various locations, that some of them have even said that the police was not there at all when this mob attacked. And the bigger question is, there are some visuals that even suggest, even at the places where you could see some policemen, and this is towards the initial hour of when this mob attacked and sabotaged, they weren't doing anything, they were just standing there. And it is on the later half
and perhaps
that we
they were outnumbered.
Absolutely.
And they were rightly outnumbered, because remember, there were about 5,000 people, and that is what the report is suggesting. There were about 5,000 people who had gathered in a matter of couple of hours last evening. How were these many number of people able to mobilize in such a short span of time? So that reeks, of course, of some sort of political nexus there, and exactly who is responsible for such a mob quickly mobilizing. It does not really happen on its own accord.
Absolutely, Shweta. And the unfortunate part is, at this given hour, when 45 minutes and there was no policeman there, and what the problem here is, the police not being there, and the Commissioner of the Kolkata Police putting the blame on the media having covered this event in the first place, saying that that is what instigated the mob to go there and sabotage a hospital premise. That I don't know what kind of a response is that from a police authority at this given point.
And they were given a free run for good 45 minutes. The questions that we're asking right now from the administration, from Kolkata police as well as the authorities is, how is it that such an event occurred and transpired for at least an hour, and police were at least 1 hour behind, when it came to really trying to control that mob. Our reporters who are on ground, they are suggesting that this looks like this was well planned in advance, and perhaps by people who really did not want the protesters to continue sitting, because that was building pressure on the ruling administration. As you rightly pointed out, not just one place, it was happening in about 40 places all across the country, but just one place where you had goons trying to destroy. Perhaps was there an attempt to destroy the evidence? That is also another question that we are asking our viewers, and we are asking the administration in Kolkata at this point, Shreya.
Absolutely, Shweta. In fact, let us now cut across to Rimjhim Sinha, the person, the leader of this very movement, Reclaim the Night, Women Reclaim the Night, Raat Dokhol Karo. Let me just introduce her to our bulletin and to our viewers for that matter. Rimjhim, a very good afternoon to you, and thank you for joining us at News 9. Rimjhim, the first question that comes to our mind at this given point is, you were the one who came up with this movement. It's a movement that had started back in London in the Leeds University, and then we see a unique movement of this sort that's never seen before in the city of Kolkata, to raise the voices of women. And then at one given location, we see a mob of 5,000 people coming in and sabotaging this movement. According to you, who do you think, in fact, was this planned, and who do you think was behind maybe such a sabotage? And what do you feel about this movement now, after this incident took place yesterday night, and this is what happened in Kolkata yesterday night?
So the first thing that I would want to say, that it is very overwhelming to see the response that I received last night. Of course, I had expected a lot of people to come on the streets and be in favor of this movement, be in favor of the call, reclaim the right to be outside their homes in the night and claim it according to how they please. But while the program was going on, I got to know about this news, and I think this comes as a more practical version of maligning the movement, maligning the idea of so many people coming out to actually protest, to actually want justice, to actually want an end to all the cases that are coming out. They gathered in a lot of places in Kolkata, and all they wanted for themselves was to ensure that no other rape or murder,
no other gender violence comes across to us, and we get to
talk about it, we get to learn about it more frequently in our school curriculums and through structural changes. All of them had gathered there to see this problem handled from the very root of it. So I think, just as while the social media posts were going on, while I was trying to post and trying to reach out to people who had responded to the call, there were a lot of fake news, a lot of hatred that was being spewed against this campaign, against this movement, especially TMC, who's in power in the state, kept on saying that they see it as a farce, they see it as a provocation to instigate people against the government and whatnot. This movement, this call was only to ask for justice, to ask for security, to ask for rights that we all deserve. And we are still waiting for it. We are trying to achieve it in West Bengal. So I think this is just a practical implication where they wanted to malign the movement in such a way that because there was a call for every normal common citizen to come out on the streets, so this was also a call for instigating a riot. This was also a call for instigating violence. And so that this whole call gets to be maligned, gets to be turned into a negative phenomena that basically allowed people to go and do this in Arjikot.
Okay.
I think this is planned. I think this is a part of a
Rimjhim, stay with us. Kerala Governor is currently meeting protesters on your screens right now. Kerala Governor trying to speak to protesters, trying to hear them out. Let's listen in.
Whatever you want to see that this society of Bengal should be made a society where women can live happily. Now it is not. We will work together. All of us will work together. We'll put our heads together. Yes, we'll work together. Success is ours.
Sir, what about the security lapses that have occurred over the past 2 days, where the mob has entered twice into the hospital in the presence of the Kolkata police and vandalized the hospital, threatening the life of doctors, nurses, staffs and the patients also. What will be done about this, sir?
Very relevant questions, very powerful questions which you have put. I have come to find the answer for that. Let me go to the place and see what happened. Let me take stock of the situation. I will discuss with you. I will take your opinion. Then only we will take action. We will take very positive action which will be exemplary for others. Yes, you will get justice.
That is the West Bengal Governor C.V. Ananda Bose speaking to protesters there, saying action will be taken against goons and the miscreants who vandalized the property at Arjikar Medical College yesterday. Rimjim, continue to stay with us. We will come back to you after a very short break, and we are of course discussing the ongoing Kolkata horror here on News9.
Big fan of Ian Bell, watching him very classy in all formats.
I find Durban quite a challenge, which is still an enjoyable one.
You're not allowed to bowl a bouncer, so that tells you that they want to see runs on the board.
बड़े अच्छे टूर्स किए हैं, बड़ी अच्छी यादें हैं हर जगह की, जहाँ मैंने पर्सनली क्रिकेट को बहुत एंजॉय किया है. ऑस्ट्रेलिया एंड इंडिया में बहुत ज़्यादा एंजॉय किया.
I love playing again England and India, and they were both very different challenges.
Up close and personal with legendary cricketers like never before. Icons of the pitch.
This and more. Streaming on News9 plus news is now content. Subscribe and get free vouchers.
Have not quite lived up to their pre-tournament billing, delivering a series of less than convincing performances. With 2 draws and a solitary win.
Your son will be Messi. No studies, just football all day. Go my son, go. Make my face shine through playing football.
Not only your face but also the country's. I will conquer the world by playing football. Come, let's go to Germany!
World's largest football talent hunt, News9 Indian Tigers and Tigresses. In association with DFB Pokal, Bundesliga, BVB and India Football Center. Train and play matches in Europe. Register now and fly to Germany. IndianTigersandTigresses.com.
How do you fulfill that promise? Because ultimately expectations have to be met. If you look at the political landscape, is it really changing for women? And what is the inability of the forces that dead bodies surface but not the living people?
It's said that out of 7 diamonds across the world, 5 are cut and polished in India.
Don't forget, US is the largest consumer of polished diamonds and the diamond jewelry, and that has taken a big beating for multiple reasons, but largely because of the consumer spending going down on these items. And that's essentially what has hit the diamond industry.
We are at a brim where you see not just one but multiple very strong global brands.
This and more. Streaming on News9 plus news is now content. Subscribe and get free vouchers.
Welcome back. You're watching News 9, and at the top of this segment, we continue to have our discussion with Rimjim Sinha, who is the leader of the Women Reclaim the Night movement. She continues to be with us on the broadcast, and we continue to discuss the events that developed yesterday night in the heart of the city of Kolkata. Rimjim, coming back to you. You know, this movement, in fact, has created an impact not just within the nation, rather across the nation, but also worldwide. We've seen posters coming in from the US, we've seen posters coming in from different places like Oslo and various other locations globally. So this, in fact, had a global impact as well. But given the events of last night, do you think there was some sort of a conspiracy that was also at play to remove the focus from the women? The highlight of this movement, the women going out and reclaiming the night. That is my first question. And my second question to you is, what were the police doing? Do you have any reports? Do you have any information from your friends who were probably at the Arjikor area attending this movement there? What do you know about where the police were? Because we couldn't see any of the police being deployed in these areas for 45 minutes when these miscreants came out.
To answer your first question, I'd like to say that I've always believed that every time there are a lot of people who stay in favor of the system that is in place. They don't want to change it, they want it to be as it is, so that their own power stays in hand and they keep on oppressing on people who belong to marginalized communities. This call was against this kind of a system. It was against building a newer system if required, and bringing structural changes into the entire system of working that people are a part of. So definitely I think this was a conspiracy to dismantle this movement, because these people who hold the power, they were at the verge, and they are at the verge. They fear that their power to oppress marginalized communities would go away. They would suffer at the hands of the common people, the idea of the common people, because this call reaching so many places creates one thing for sure. It makes it the most powerful force that wants structural change. It makes it the most powerful force that rejects the idea of victim blaming. It rejects the idea of constantly saying that it is the victim's fault if something criminal happens to her or anyone else. So it is definitely seeming like a conspiracy. To answer your second question, I would like to say that I got to know from various friends of mine who were at Arjikor or who were close by or who came into news through social media that the police was actually trying to create a ruckus. On the other hand, while these miscreants were there, they almost came and made allegations to the students who were there at the movement, who were there asking for justice, that this was basically because you are here and because you are trying to create problems and because these kind of calls are coming out. So the police was trying to malign the students' movement, malign the whole idea of asking for justice, and this is not what is expected out of a police force, at least never in Kolkata.
Absolutely. Rimjim, continue to be with us. We want to come back to you. We want to understand what your movement is all about. But my colleague Kumar Kundan was present at the protest site. He was able to capture the aftermath of destruction at the Arjikor Medical College. Let's quickly listen in.
जो पूरा का पूरा टीयर गैस, ये देखिए लोगों की हालत खराब हो रही है यहाँ पे। लोग जो है वो धीरे धीरे भागने की कोशिश में लगे हैं और निश्चित रूप से जो पूरा मॉब है उसको तितर बितर करने के लिए
আমরা চুরি করিনি, তাও নিজের জন্য লড়েছি, তাই জন্যই আমাদের
এখানে হাল হয়েছে। পুলিশ টিয়ার গ্যাস ছুড়ছে,
আমাদের গাড়ির ব্যবসা 500 টাকা করে তোলে, আর পুলিশ আজকে এত অন্যায় হয়েছে, পুলিশ ছিল না, এত বড় একটা অন্যায় হয়ে গেল।
क्या काफी ज्यादा आप लोगों को टॉर्चर किया गया?
কাউকে আসতে হবে না, মার খেলে খাবো, মরলে মরবো,
সবাই একসাথে মরবো আমরা। আজ আমরা আন্দোলনে নেমেছি, সাধারণ মানুষ একসাথে। ওখানে কিছু গুন্ডা বাহিনী দুষ্কৃতী ওরা ইচ্ছাকৃত ভাঙচুর করছে, যাতে আমাদের
এটাই কি আমাদের? এক মিনিট আমাদের অধিকারটা ছিল তিলোত্তমার বিচার চাই। আমার নাম মৌমিতা সরকার, আমি নিজে তিলোত্তমার নামের একটি মেয়ে। কালকে আমার সাথে এটা হতে পারে, আমার বোনের সাথে হতে পারে। কোথায় সুরক্ষা? কোথায়? নেই। নিরাপত্তা কোথায়? নেই। কি দিচ্ছ? 1000 টাকা চাই না। কি দিচ্ছ বলো? কি পরিষেবা দিচ্ছ? কিচ্ছু দিচ্ছ না। চাকরি দিচ্ছ না। কি দিচ্ছ? কিছু দিচ্ছ না। কি দিচ্ছ আমাদেরকে? নিরাপত্তা দিতে হবে না রে, নিরাপত্তা একটা রাইট। ওটা ছেনাতে এসেছিলাম, কাঁদুনি গ্যাস মারছে, सारा शरीर चलছে, माथा থেকে পাও
कर रहा है, तोड़फोड़ करके गुंडा बाहिनी। ये लोग सोच रहा है
বিচার চাই, আমরা বিচার চাই, আমাদের মাদের, আমাদের বোনেদের বিচার চাই। আমরা কলকাতাকে দেখতে চাই পরিষ্কার, সুন্দর, পরিচ্ছন্ন ভাবে।
সুদীপ বন্দ্যোপাধ্যায় কোথায়? মমতা ব্যানার্জি কোথায়? আজকে কোন রাজ্যে বসবাস করছে যেখানে কাঁদানে গ্যাস ছোড়া হচ্ছে? আমরা কোন রাজ্যে? জঙ্গলে বসবাস করছি।
কোনো পলিটিক্যাল র্যালি ছিল না, এটা আমাদের নন পলিটিক্যাল র্যালি ছিল। আমরা গণতন্ত্রের
দিকে নিয়ে যান।
আমি চাই আমাদের মাননীয় মুখ্যমন্ত্রী তো একজন মহিলা হয় মারছো।
Deep-seated rage is what the people of the city of Kolkata feel at this given point for this ghastly incident that's taken place. Rimjim, I'm coming back to you. There's a very important point that's been raised by one of the protesters we were just listening into, as well as you, when you started off the movement. I remember you saying that this wasn't a movement per se. You had just asked some of your friends to collect and, you know, come in and seek for justice for the victim here. And it just turned out to be such a movement because of the rage that is currently there burning within the people of Kolkata at this given point. And one very important point that you had mentioned was this is not a political movement. But given the developments of last night, do you think there was some sort of a conspiracy to give this a political color of some sort?
While I was trying to advocate for my movement, for my call, and reach out to the people who responded to it, what I was trying to explain that this is not a political movement in the sense that no parliamentary political party or any of their organizations are welcome. Because I think we always see politics and political presence in the way of parliamentary politics, and we see it only getting represented in the Rajya Sabhas or Lok Sabhas, and it does not always transcend into the changes that we want in our everyday life. I think that when common people come and make a rally because they do not have water services in their area, that has its own form of politics. I think when Adivasis march for their right to their land, I think that has its own kind of politics. I think when a lot of rapes happen one after the other and women march on the streets without any political color or without any political flag of the parliamentary political parties, it has its own politics. So I think we need to extend our definition of politics. I think we need to understand an alternative to the kind of politics we've been accustomed to all these days. And I believe that everyone who had come, who had gathered here, also have their own kind of politics. They are in favor of justice. They are in favor of ensuring that patriarchal mindset gets removed. They are in favor of ensuring structural changes into their daily lives. This is also a kind of politics. This is also a kind of taking a stand for what I want in my life. And I believe that this is an alternative. This should be embraced. And this is the politics that we all need to subscribe to, understand and evaluate and make it more inclusive.
Okay, Rimjim, before I let you go, let's quickly take a minute to educate our viewers. In the aftermath of that unfortunate incident, we have seen advisories from colleges, we have seen advisories from various public institutions asking women to come back, be at their homes by 6 p.m, not make sure to venture out at night. Your movement, Reclaim the Night, in the context of all these advisories, where do you see your movement going, and why is it that important for women to reclaim the night? Let's quickly try and understand the reasoning behind the movement. Let's also understand and educate people as to why it's important for women not to be asked to be sent back at home or to remain at home, and why it's important for women to be out there. Perhaps there needs to be a change in narrative when it comes to who should be reclaiming the night and why women should be out on streets.
Right. So reclaiming the night means something was already there, something was supposed to be not discriminated against, but it has been according to societal norms. Women going out in the night, or marginalized gender community identifying persons going out in the night, always brings a certain kind of character certificate with it. It is as if this person is good and this person is bad. If we see two men talking to each other at 2 o'clock in the night at any space, there will not be any questions raised on their character. But if the same is done by two women, perhaps a lot of questions will be raised on their character. When a woman comes home at 11 or at 12 in the night, they are subjected to certain claims that they definitely belong to a certain kind of profession. They must have a lot of sexual connotations related to their profession, and this needs to stop.
Absolutely.
My entire
it needs to stop, Rinjan. I've run out of time, but thank you very much. I think that's the education we should take away from your movement and from all the students out there who are making their voices heard. It needs to stop. It is not about women being out at night. It's about their safety. The night belongs to them as much to any person, any other gender out there. Rimjim, thank you very much for what you're doing, and thank you for taking time out to talk to us here on News9 Live. But I think with that, we've come to the end of the show. Thank you very much for watching.
Fast.
My God, isn't she your daughter?
Yes.
She's playing football. This is boys' game. Make her study. If she doesn't get a good job, she will get a good match. Will you win the world by playing football?
Yes, auntie. My daughter will win the world by playing football.
Let's go to Germany.
World's largest football talent hunt, News9 Indian Tigers and Tigresses. In association with DFB Pokal, Bundesliga, BVB and India Football Center. Train and play matches in Europe. Register now and fly to Germany. IndianTigersandTigresses.com.
For the very first time,